session. I want to introduce you all to the urban scholar himself, Yusuf. Class in session.
Class is in session. Yeah. Class is in session. Class is in session. Ask me a question. Class is in session. Class is in session. Class is in session. Ask me a question. It gets massive in seconds. I'm on task with the message. We gon' talk about the past and the present. Hey, ask me a question. Yeah, these facts be the weapons. Ask me a question. Yeah. Class is in session. Class is in session. Class is in session. Ask me a question. Yeah. Class is in session. Class is in session. Class is in session. Ask me a question. Yeah. Class is in session.
Hey, it's your favorite host, the Urban Scholar. Class in session. We got the hot boy, Brian Jones, in the building. We got a lot of history. We got a lot to talk about today, man.
Of course.
This young man has an amazing story. He's one of my personal inspirations. I've mentored him in the past and continue to support him throughout adulthood. And I'm going to let him introduce himself and talk a little bit about his background, where he come from, and how we got to this point, and understanding why this show was a must. So without further ado, Mr. Brian Jones, welcome to Class in Session, sir.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you coming out.
Of course.
So let's do a quick bio,
Okay.
and you can tell the people just, some glimpses about your upbringing, where you're from, that kind of thing, and, where you were born, and just give kind of people a little introduction to Brian Jones.
All right. So obviously my name's Brian. I was born in New Brunswick at Robert Wood Johnson. I lived in New Brunswick all my life, as far as, when I was younger, growing up. I have 3 siblings. Right now, or as far as growing up, it was difficult. I lost my mom at a young age at 2 months. So I was a baby at the time. As far as my siblings, they're all older. I am the baby of the family. Then, leading up to obviously here, just going through life, my thing is having a challenge at a young age, losing my mom. Obviously, my dad was in the picture. So he basically took care of 3 of us, or 4 of us, I should say, all at once. And then obviously, there's not so much a man can do by himself. So eventually, my dad got sick, and, we ended up going into the system. And when I say system, I mean like foster care. And so obviously people will look at it as, a challenge and, as a stepping stone. And that's kind of what I did, because obviously, being at that age, being 2 months, then obviously having my dad take care of us and taking care of 3 siblings, it's like, that's a lot for one man to do. And so for him to get sick, I believe I was in middle school, and, in middle school it was just tough, because obviously, I'm trying to get through middle school, get on to high school, and he got sick again. So, we would go home after being in the system, and then we'll go back to another house.
Yeah. So,
adapting to going home, not knowing, if we were going to stay with my dad for a while, or if we were going to go to another foster house.
Tough.
So that was something that was tough. But, it was a challenge, and, I accepted that challenge. And, unfortunately in high school, as a sophomore in high school, my dad passed away. So, I'm this 15-year-old kid sitting in a classroom, getting a text saying, hey, Daddy just died. So, I had to adjust, and, it's midday. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to think. I ended up leaving school because we had a half a day. So obviously things like that, you kind of remember like yesterday. Because, it has that impact on you.
Wow.
So, for me, after that day, I just looked at life differently, where I was like, instead of asking why me, I felt like a chosen one.
Yeah.
Where it was like, all right, I need to take this, what happened to me, and, affect other people in a positive way, because, a lot of people think that, going outside, hanging out with the wrong crowd is the best thing for them, especially in a situation like this. But for me, I just took the opportunity, and I was just like, all right, you know what, let me better myself, let me better my siblings, but more importantly, let me, show people what my dad was truly about.
Yes.
Because without him showing me the way, then it's like I wouldn't be who I am today.
Absolutely.
And for him to take a challenge of losing his wife, raising 4 kids, and still going battling, that's a warrior. So I just try to live every day to make him proud, make them proud, and make my siblings proud as well. As far as the system though, like I said, at 15, obviously I was still in the system because he was sick. He did end up passing away at that age. And
so after he passed, just kind of take us to what was your situation with your siblings? Where were you living? Where did you end up going? Like, who became your caretaker?
So I was in North Brunswick, and I was at a foster home. The 4 of my siblings were with me, so it was something that was perfect because sometimes you don't get to go with your siblings.
Exactly.
So sometimes you get separated, and
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time you do get separated where you don't see them. And so for us, we got blessed. We were able to stay in one house, and that situation became great, but then obviously it had a turn of events as well, where we found out some things that were going on that shouldn't have been going on.
Yeah.
And so obviously it led to us splitting up. And so for me, I kind of had to take a mature route and go, hey, I got to finish school, I got to do that. But I also had to let someone know.
Yeah.
Because I felt like everything I've been through, I was being taken advantage of. So that's when I reached back out to the system and I said, hey, listen, I need to explain something to you guys. And so when I explained that, it was more so now I feel like I'm going back into a hole.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, I just thought I had a break in the case, and now it's like, damn, I didn't know like this could happen to someone who's already been through so much.
Exactly.
At that point, I believe that's when I met you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I explained
I think
everything
it was your last
to you.
year in high school, right?
Yeah, it was my last year in high school. It was one of my favorite years, honestly. I'm gonna be honest, just because obviously I graduated, so that was like another accomplishment that I told my parents I would do.
Yes.
And I met you, and to this day I thank God for that, because without you, I feel like I wouldn't be the man I am today.
Oh,
And I mean that like with all my heart too, because if you guys knew my situation and like what I was going through at the time, I don't think anyone else besides my dad could have shaped me to the man I am today besides you.
thank you, man.
Of course, and I mean that with all due respect,
You made
all
it
credit.
easy. You made it easy.
I tried to. I know I kind of made it
Normally
difficult
it's not that
sometimes.
easy,
Yeah, no, of course.
But one of the things that I noticed about you, and you talked about it earlier after like your father passed, that you decided that you were going to go the high road and focus on what you needed to do for yourself, your education. So we call that personal power. You took your pain, right, and you use it as a power.
Of course.
It's like a superhero trait.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a rare thing, because it's not to be minimized, because that's what I use.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't lose my parents obviously until more recently. So I've always had I don't know what the word is. It's always been something for me to meet people who have lost their parents as children.
Yeah.
I always say I couldn't imagine what that's like. And you were a baby.
Of course.
So you didn't even get to know your mom. And just growing up like that, and then as a teenager, because I have friends that's happened to them.
Yeah.
But at the time I didn't know they were going through that in high school. And to me it's unimaginable. And I have a pretty good, I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
But it's something that I can't imagine what that's like. And then for you to take your pain and turn it into your power. And I remember when I met you, and I looked at your story, and then when I met you, and I just said, "Wow, this guy is different."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you were in your last year, and as I started to talk to you and hear your story and listen to what you were going through, we talked about your siblings and things like that. How you seemed to be the mature one, even though I didn't know them.
Yeah.
But you seemed to be the caretaker. You were more concerned about them than you were about yourself. And you were homeless.
Yeah.
You were homeless. Let's be honest. And even though you had somewhere to lay your head, you didn't have a home. And it bothered me. I didn't like the situation he was in, and it bothered me, and I had to figure it out, you know. And we found that situation, and I guess it worked out for the best.
Yeah, I mean,
even with the minor hiccups.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have minor hiccups here.
Yeah, but you built some relationships.
Yeah,
and you were able to finish school and go to college.
Yeah.
Remember, you went to Middlesex County College. So this young man here reminds me of myself because I met him at a time after I had already lost, my mother. So I knew what the pain was of not having my mom because I was the baby.
Of course.
And of course, I was my parents' favorite. Shout out to Slim and Kate. My sister ain't gonna like that.
Yeah.
But she hate when I say that.
I feel like I'm the favorite child too.
But being the baby, you're special.
Yeah.
The first child is special and the baby's special. Yeah. So my sister was a middle child, so she got middle child syndrome, which I understand it. You know what I mean? She kind of got overlooked a little bit.
Yeah.
But my father loved her to death. Oh. He did everything for her. We were all brats. So I look at her like, man, get out of here. You got spoiled. Yeah. You know what I mean? Till he went in the ground. That was he did everything for her, But I wanted to highlight that personal power thing because it's important that people hear this and understand that we all experience like tough situations. And it's what you do in that moment. And I'm just trying to ask myself, at your age, between 15 and 17, what went on in your head that made you tap into personal power and you didn't even know you was tapping into it?
Well, for me, it was two options. It was everything that happened to me, just let it affect me and go a negative route, or, take everything that happened to me and go positive. I'm gonna be completely honest. I never even thought about going negative at all. There's really nothing negative to go for.
Yeah.
I believe that, everything happens for a reason, and that, in life you're gonna have challenges. And the number one thing about challenges is you got to overcome them.
Absolutely.
So if you don't overcome your challenges, you just can't put it away and expect it to go away.
Absolutely.
As far as religion, obviously, you pray and, you got to thank God for everything that he does for you and everything that he puts you through. Because for me, I feel like, like they say, God gives his strongest soldiers his toughest battles.
Yes.
So for me, my dad taught me that. And the reason why I turned that into power is because I watched someone who raised 4 kids, who was sick, medical issue after medical issue, but didn't stop fighting.
Yeah.
So if he's going through all that at that age and he's still fighting, I'm young. Why can't I do something like him, or why can't I show him that everything that he taught me is a lesson? And I feel like a lot of people, they take it for granted.
Yeah.
So, I know, like you were talking about your parents as well. There's kids out there now who they don't like their parents.
Yeah.
And, I'm a big believer on no matter what the situation is, you only get to love your parents or see your parents once. So it's not like they're going to come back and,
And you don't get a new pair.
Yeah.
Of parents. You know what I mean?
No, of course. And, you got to, no matter what it is, if you're upset at them for the day, the hour, it's like, don't let that overcome your relationship, because at the end of the day, once that day comes, you're never going to get that back.
Absolutely.
And that feeling, and that's the worst feeling in the world, honestly. No matter if you're close to them or not, you're going to feel that pain.
Absolutely.
They're your parents at the end of the day. Like you said, I never got a chance to meet my mom in person, but, emotionally, physically, spiritually, I feel her there. No matter what decision I make in life, I always make sure I include them in it.
Yeah.
And, there's nothing else I would really say as far as that. The negative route really wasn't an option. It was, I got a job to do. I got to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I got to take care of my siblings. My siblings were number one, like you said. I never, to this day now, I don't put myself first. I always put them first, because at the end of the day, my dad never put himself first. He always put us first, and he always felt like he needed to be the one to take care of us.
Yeah.
And, as they say in life, your parents take care of you as a baby and as you're growing up, and then you got to return that favor, when you're mature enough and, you have your own family one day. Once they get older, they're not going to be able to do things on their own. So when they say life is a cycle, life is a cycle. So my number one thing was to honestly just take care of them. And right now I feel like taking care of my siblings it's a big part, but it's also something that I love to do, because I know it's something that, I told my dad actually, before he passed, I was like, you don't have to worry anymore. At the end of the day, you're struggling, you're suffering. Like, we all love you. I love you. And at the age of 15, to be that mature, I told my siblings to get out of the room. And I had a one-on-one with him. I looked him in the eyes and I said, if you want to go, go. It's not like we want you to go, but at the end of the day, all that pain, all that suffering, I got it. Like, it's on me. I'll handle it. I'll be able to, I want to be able to be the one like you and take care of them, even if it means I got to risk everything I have. So.
That's funny you said that, because that was the exact conversation I had with my mother.
Yeah.
She had pancreatic cancer. So I remember coming home from Philly. I was a program director at the time, and I would come on the weekends, and a couple of weekends went by, I didn't come. This weekend I came, and she was laying in the bed on a Saturday. She's always at the store with my aunt and everybody, taking everybody to the store. She came, she called me, she says, I haven't eaten in 2 weeks. I said, well, am I missing something? She says, and I'm throwing up and it's black. So I know instantly, ain't no doctor, she's dying. That means her body is stopped, it's compromised, it's going in reverse. So I remember going to my sister, very angry. And I said, your mom is sick, she's dying. I said, need you to get her to the hospital. And she never came back home. That was the last time she laid in her bed, and it was a process of 2 weeks. So I remember my sister calling me, and after she spoke to her doctor, and doctors have to have HIPAA laws, confidentiality. They can't tell you what's going on. My mom hid her cancer from us. She was sick all them years, and still was going to work, doing for everybody, taking care of my family, taking them to the store, and still working. And she was taking all these pills. And we discovered that's why. She didn't want radiation. She didn't want to lose her hair. So she took cancer straight on. And the doctor finally told my sister, he said, your mom's not coming back. She had stage 4 cancer. So he broke confidentiality and told my sister. He said, this is it. So, I left work. I remember crying at work, and one of my employees came to my office, and, they found out what happened because the CEO, my boss called him and said, go check on Mr. Spencer, he in his office. Yeah. And they came in there busting through the door saying, you okay, boss man? And I said, nah, I'm not, but I'll be okay. Yeah. And I went home, I packed a few things and left. And they told me, just do what you got to do. And that was my last 2 weeks with her. So, and I had the same conversation because I was in the middle of, if you saw my other podcast, I talked about that big deal I got. Yeah. I was in the middle of that. I was worth $100 million at the time. And I didn't tell her. But I said, don't worry, the family good. I got everybody. Yeah. I was shopping for Maseratis and everything, bro. Yeah. So although that was happening, something great was going on as well at the same time, but you just took me back there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I had that exact conversation. I said to her, and I kissed her on the forehead. I said, it's okay. Yeah. You don't got to do that no more. But she wouldn't die in front of me. Yeah. Because I was the baby. That's you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you had the exact conversation with your dad I had with my mom and my dad too, because I was with him. He had colon cancer. So both my parents, So that's why my story with my tumor is major for me, because there's a connection. Of course. And honestly, as sick as it sounds, it connects me to them. Yeah. Even though I never had cancer, I beat it. So to me, it's a message to my children, to my family, that we're starting a new chapter. You know what I mean? No, of course. And we're not going to allow that to get at us. So using your pain as personal power. Yeah. That's why at one point I used to call myself the Black Superhero on Instagram. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, man, you took me there, right? So that's important, man. So let's fast forward. Mm-hmm. You graduated high school. I remember going to your graduation in Trenton. Right, that was major. and then you went to Middlesex County College. Tell us about that.
So obviously after high school, I was like, I basically just said, college is next. Accomplishments after accomplishments is just what I was eyeing. And a lot of people will look at this and, say they're personal accomplishments, but they're really not. I take them as family accomplishments because as far as school, I want to say out of all my siblings, they went to county college as well, but I don't think any of them finished.
Yeah.
I do have a couple brothers in like the military, but besides the point, I went there and I was like, I'm going to finish.
Yeah.
And the reason for that was, I just felt like I wasn't done. And I felt like there was more on the table to accomplish. There was more things to make my parents proud of, make my siblings proud of.
Yeah.
I can care less for, any little accomplishments for myself because I feel like my accomplishments are things I need to do.
Yeah.
The accomplishments for them are things
you
that...
took on the burden of your family.
Yeah, of course. And, it doesn't stop there. It's going to continue to keep going.
Yeah.
But college was college, you had your ups and downs. Or I should say I had my ups and downs. Wasn't many downs. It was just, you get in your moment, you get in your times where it's like, there's certain things that may go on where it's like, who do I go to?
Yeah.
And for me personally, as you know, it's like I keep everything in because it's just who I am as a person.
Brian wouldn't go to counseling.
Yeah, counseling is, me taking on the challenge and getting through the challenge.
Yes.
Because there's no challenge, I feel like I've gone through the hardest challenge in life so far.
Absolutely.
So I feel like anything else in life can't beat me or won't defeat me. So that's why, I won't take counseling. I know a lot of people are going to look at this and say, it's unhealthy, but...
not necessarily. Not if you have the will to continue to, you know what I mean?
Push through and continue to go.
And we all need somebody to talk to, but that's not required in order to continue to succeed.
Yeah, that's true.
But the trick is, right, with treatment, because I'm a therapist, so I have to say this. There's, what relapse is, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a person who's used drugs. Trauma represents drugs, right? And it always comes back, right? So sometimes it comes back and the person can't beat it.
Yeah.
So far you've been able to beat it. It's going to come back.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Everything repeats. 360 degrees, right? Everything comes back. So you just hope, and I'm saying this because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I've been to counseling maybe once when I was married in Philly, but we went 2 times.
Yeah.
And here I am a coach, right? And I always tell people, you got to do something. If you don't have it in you, right, to address your stuff on your own, you got to do something. Yeah, so it's not mandatory, but if you're addressing and you're healing, then you're good. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know who you are.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what it's about.
Yeah, you know yourself best. And obviously, like you said, there's nothing wrong with taking help. It's nothing wrong with going to people. Obviously that's your comfort, and obviously I know if I'm going through something, I can go to you.
Absolutely.
I have a couple friends I know that I can go to, but more so in situations, it's who do you want to go to and how do you want to address it?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that you can go to people about, and then it'll be used against you or be used for you.
Exactly.
And that's another thing that you gotta
be careful who you talk to. Everybody ain't trying to help you.
Yeah, everybody's not trying to help you. They're just using ammo to get at you.
Get the information, they use it against you when it's convenient for them.
Yeah.
Oh, remember you I'm like, oh, you're not supposed to repeat that back.
Yeah.
Like that was me opening up. This ain't got nothing to do with what we're doing now. But that's when people manifest their intent, who they are.
Yeah. And
I've been there, and I still go through that today.
Yeah. It's the true colors. And that's, that's life. But, as far as college, I graduated college. I got my associate's degree. And that was a challenge. But, I got through that challenge as well. And like I said, it was tough days, but there was a couple of tough days where, I could just hear my dad and like just, remember exactly what he's gone through. And I'm like, I'm never a quitter, that's not in me. And it was always just fighting. Some people may say it sounds like quitting, but it's just, I take it as just imagine playing 4 quarters. It's the last quarter and you're playing every single minute of the 4th quarter. You're just going to be tired. It's fatigue. Absolutely. So I just needed to replenish a little bit and, get some fluids in me. And once I got that in me, I felt like, you know what, I'm good. I'm always going to be good. He's always there with me. I ended up finishing. I did get my associate's degree. So that was another accomplishment. Criminal justice.
My man.
So I did get that, and so that was also accomplishment for them, because like I said, I wanted to be the one to continue our legacy.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing. I want to be the one to carry our name somewhere, and allow people to know who we are, and what we've definitely gone through and going through now still.
So I know you had aspirations to go into law enforcement. What's going on with that?
So actually, I took the civil service. I did pass. Right now, waiting on Highland Park. I just finished my class 1 last summer, meaning now I just got to do my class 2. Once I become my class 2 officer, I can go to any department. Right now, Highland Park, I went through the written test. I got through all of that. And so all I have to do is now get my class 2 certification, and then they'll be able to hire me.
Hey man, let's go, baby, let's go. I need that. I
No,
need
of course.
that.
That's
I remember
my
that
goal.
from day one. You always said that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to go in law enforcement. So that's dope, man. I'm glad to hear that you haven't given up on that.
No, yeah, I want to do that. I want to also, I've been thinking about it recently too. I want to go into some type of, coaching as far as,
Because you're doing the sports.
Yeah, sports.
Tell us about that.
So I coached high school football for a year. Then I did middle school basketball in Highland Park. It was good. The kids looked at it as an older brother, which was good. They felt comfortable coming to me for certain things as well. You go to someone that's older, like your parents' age, and it may be a little bit more difficult. But when you finally get that connection with someone, that's a tad older than you, but you feel like you can connect to, I feel like that's the best part of life. Because sometimes you don't want to tell your parents something, and you may feel comfortable with someone, you tell them that. So it was more so not even about the sport itself. It was just more so seeing these kids grow up and take sports out of it and just show them that there's other things to life. And, that's to be strong, stay strong, go to school, get good grades. And, the number one thing is stay in the classroom. Because as soon as you get outside that classroom, it's so many distractions that can affect you, haunt you. And once you get tagged up in that wrong crowd, it's, it can only go downhill from there.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more so getting my feet wet with that and just, adapting to different people, different age groups, so that, I can basically relate to them. And, if anything were to happen, I can basically come out and say, all right, listen, you know what? This age group I can deal with, this age group I can deal with. Maybe I had trouble here, but, none of that came about. So that's another thing I feel really good about.
Yeah, man. I see you every day. You've got the flag football. You're always active. You're in the gym every day. You're promoting health. You're promoting all types of things, man. And I just wanted to say that I'm super proud, man. I remember when we sat down and you were 21 and you were working throughout the whole time you were in college. Even when you was, after you got out of school, you started working. You've always maintained employment. And I always tell your story to people, to other clients that I have, and I always say, I had this one kid, he was my favorite guy, he was one of them, my top, that made me super proud. And I said, this young man was able to save up a lot of money, because I always used to tell you, put your money in the bank, don't touch it, don't touch it. And I remember looking, and you showed me your bank account, you had like 25 grand saved up at that time. And that's unheard of for a 21-year-old to save that kind of money. And I don't even know how to say that kind of money. So I was like, yo, that's my man.
My dad, man.
So this dude is really a superhero, man, for his family. And he's an inspiration to me. I love watching you on social media do your thing, man.
Appreciate it.
I love,
vice versa.
I'm glad that you still allow me to be in your life, and you mean a lot to me. Your family to me. I treat you like I treat my own sons and daughters. So, and my door will always be open, and my success is your success. And I wanted to bring you on here because I wanted you to know that, and your family. And I'm super proud of you, man. I want you to go on and be all you can be and continue to do what you're doing. And I know your siblings appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
And I've gotten to meet them, and You guys are a great bunch, and you got your hands full with them.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
but that's how it is, man. Being the youngest, you become the one because you've seen everything and everybody, so you kind of like, I ain't going that way.
Yeah.
By the time you get older, you're always like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not going to work.
Exactly.
So you got more insight.
Yeah.
You know, and the older siblings are what we call the test dummies. They go through they fall on their face for you. Like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. So we had a chance to see all of that. So that's the benefit of being the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see things from a different perspective, and I think that's important with siblings to understand that because, you know, siblings have rifts. Family members have rifts. Like that's a thing. So it's not like it was always roses, right? There was rifts. And we all have that, you know. Not like I said, I joke with my sister, but, you know, there was a time, you know, she couldn't stand me, you know, and I was a whole lot to deal with. I still am.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's normal and it's okay. And people have to embrace that.
Of course.
Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, you're going to have rifts with your family. Yeah. Like, how you don't have rifts with people? You know, you're going to have more rifts with them because you're closer. Yeah, so, because what they say and do means more. Other people, who cares? Yep. Nobody cares about that. You know, but you've been able to, man, I can't wait to see the movie, man. You know, we got to start talking about the book. So when you get into the police force, right, we're going to have to sit down and we're going to have to start the book.
So the book is started.
Okay, see, here we go. See you holding out.
The book is kind of started. I would say it's more so written on my computer.
That's dope.
It's not like a book as far as, you know, it's every day is a new thing, you know. Every day you're going to remember something differently. Yeah. To include everything in there, obviously, is, you know, a challenge. But I have been writing for about 6 months now.
Wow, that's dope. That's dope.
I do have on my MacBook, it's double spaced, but it's about 11 pages, 10 pages, I think. And it's detail after detail. Yeah. That's the thing. Because, you know, reading about it, it's gonna sit in your mind more. Yeah. So you have a visual of what someone is actually saying. I feel like reading something versus hearing someone say it, when you read it, you can feel that connection. You can feel the emotion. Yeah. And so, that has started. I just, you know, like I told you before, we got to sit down. We definitely got to talk about, you know, getting it published, getting it,
that's easy.
Edit and everything.
Yeah, so, we got you on that.
So that we can, because that's the number one thing too. I want to get that out there. I do. I'm not the best writer, but, you know, I feel like it's a story that would touch a lot of people. And it's not for, you know, myself. It's just to show other people in similar situations or better situations that no matter what, just keep going, keep pushing forward. Because at the end of the day, you know, the sun's gonna come out. That's regardless. You know, it could be cloudy 4 straight days, and then you're gonna get a peek of the sun somewhere. So my thing is, it's all written down. Most of it's written down. But for you, like I said, when you first came into my life, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, okay, this is promising. But you know, you
had to build that trust.
Yeah, when you've been through so much, it's like you continue to open your doors, open your heart, and then it's like, damn, I just got super comfortable, and now I gotta do this and do that. But for you, it was just, you know, 1, 2, 3. I felt like it was, you know, you put me in the best situation to, you know, survive and, you know, be who I am today, and that's something that I would always be grateful for. And thankful for. Like I said, you're always family to me. You're always family to my siblings. You know, I brought you up the other day, especially when we talked about this as well. And you know, we just thank you. And you know, it's not just from me, it's from them as well, because you know, and I know my parents are saying thank you as well. So that's another thing, because like I said, you found the best situation for me and you plugged me into that best spot. But then again, you didn't just plug me in and go, all right, you know what, you're in a good spot, I gotta go focus here. Yeah, I didn't have to be your main focus, like you said, because, you know, I was always on my thing. I'll give you a headache every here and there with this or with that.
We had our moments.
But
I knew where it was coming from.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of frustration or a lot of emotions at the time, but there was never a day where I was like, please give me someone else or anything like that. It was always like, you know, a father figure or, you know, like a brother figure where it's like, we're going to have our arguments, but it's going to be like, we really argued over that, or we really had a disagreement over that. So for me,
But I
like
respected you as a young man.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't agree with every decision you made. And that's the beauty of it. It's your decision to make. And I never took it personal.
Yeah.
So, because I believe in allowing and letting people be who they are and be an adult. You were an adult. You were pretty much an adult when I met you. And I wasn't going to berate you and treat you like some little kid who don't know shit. Yeah. You had to go through your feelings. You had to go through your processes and everything. And I knew there were going to be moments where it was, you know, there was times I'm like, boy, I don't want to do what I tell him to do. He hard, you know. But I knew where the beauty of it is. I knew where it was coming from. So I understood and I overstood. So it made it easier for me. And, you know, as a person who cared, you know, when you care about somebody, of course. So I always tell my kids I'm older, so I know more. But it doesn't translate into you don't just do what I tell you to do. It doesn't work like that. Because I didn't do that with my parents. They couldn't tell me shit at that age. So I was the biggest, I don't want to say knucklehead, but I was a knucklehead. You know, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I'm still a knucklehead, but look where it's gotten me. Yeah. So, you know, good and bad. But I wouldn't change who I am, and I'm sure only thing we would probably change is obviously not having our parents. But outside of that, it's made us who we are. Yeah. You know, and everything I do is because of my parents, man. I am my mother and my father embodied. And I discuss things with them as well. I don't make decisions without them because, like you stated, I am who I am because of them. Yeah. You know, so their influence outlives the physical. Of course. It's eternal for me. Yeah. And, you know, I'm forever grateful. So that's why my approach is not like other folks. Yeah. I'm more person-centered. I meet you where you at. I want to know what's going on with you. As long as you let me in, then I know how to help you. Yeah. And you did the thing. Like I said, I didn't have to really stay on top of you. You pretty much are self-sufficient, man. And you were out the gate. You were the top dog. You know, you and some other person I'm not gonna mention. You know who I'm talking about. But you know, he's up next. Yeah. So, but you guys are, man, I'm so proud. You know, and I don't take no credit. That's what you guys have in you was already there before I got there.
To an extent, I feel like
all I did was kind of like
shape it.
Yeah. Put you in the right direction and facilitated some things. And I ain't minimizing that because that was important, right? But I want you to understand today that what you have done is because of your DNA and what your parents, your father gave you. Mm-hmm. He gave you his blueprint. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he was a soldier, he fought. Yeah. And my parents were soldiers and they fought. You know, the way they wanted to fight. They didn't want to do all that treatment. Yeah. They just said, no, I want to live life as normal as possible. Of course. You know, and however it go, it go. That was it. My father and mother smiled. My mother waved at everybody when she realized I wasn't in the crowd. And she smiled and closed her eyes. My dad, he looked at me. I was in Mississippi. He said, son, go on back home. Yeah. Nothing else for you to do here. I'm never going back on the hill. So we from a town called Duck Hill, Mississippi. Okay. And our house, my grandparents' house, was on the hill. He said, I'm never going back on the hill. I'll never be able to walk around the hill again. So he said, don't even matter. So that was him saying, like, it's it, that's it. So my time was up. I came back to New Jersey, and less than 5 days, they said he passed away in his sleep. He was alive and well when I was there. Yeah. You know what I mean? They made the choice to exit. Yeah. They made it on their terms. Even though they had that circumstance, they made it on their terms. Yeah. So I live life like that. I do everything on my terms. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care where I'm working, what environment I'm in, who I'm around. It's always on my terms. Yeah. I chose to work here. You may have hired me, but I chose to work here. Of course. And I can exit whenever I get ready. Right? So you have to live life that way. And that's the example my parents taught me is you do what you want. Like people say, oh, you got a podcast. I was doing this. I was going live on Instagram before. Yeah. But I decided I wanted to do it in this format because I felt it was more beneficial. And guess what? I didn't even think about it. Just like I didn't think about starting this brand. I just said one day I woke up, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of person I am. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. And I see that in you with all your activities. I don't know how you keep up, but you're doing a lot, but you're young.
Yeah.
You have that in you, man. And you know, sometimes my kids look at me and say, "Pop, I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah.
You the coolest dad out." You know what I mean? Like you stay relevant, like you keep up. I said it's here now. It's not physical. I have this, you know, but you guys have that in the physical.
Yeah, of course.
To keep running. And I'm gonna encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. You're an inspiration to me. Every time I see you in the gym, I visualize myself in there, even though I ain't back in there yet. But you know, it's coming. It's coming. 2023 is coming. These old bones, man. But yeah, you know, I'm probably gonna start training with you at some point.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I'm there.
Slide in there and work on these old bones, man, and get back right.
No, they're not old yet.
Yeah, well, my bones are old from the accidents, but yeah, man, you're a true inspiration, and it was important for me to have you on the show to tell your story, because I believe there's so many people out there that will benefit from your story, and I know this is probably super healing for you to talk about it in this platform, and you know, I'm excited, man, that you've been logging and jotting down and writing. That is important. Keep writing, keep telling, keep writing out your story, because this is going to make for a great ending with the movie coming out and things like that. Because you know that's my background. So
yeah, no, of course
we're gonna get this thing up and running.
That's what I want. I want it to be like that. So I want people to, you know, look at it as an inspiration. I want people to, you know, look at it and go, oh, wow, like, you know, I'm going through this. And it's not to compare situations of what's better or what's worse. It's more so of, okay, at the end of the day, everyone goes through something. You still have the choice to make on how you're going to react to it.
Yeah.
You know, you can sit down and not do anything, or you can get up and go, try me again, or hit me twice as hard as you just hit me again. And, you know, I think a lot of people will look at this and go, wow, you know what? Let me take this challenge, you know, let me not shy away from it, or let me, you know, not go to someone else for it, and let me actually take it on head to head.
Absolutely.
And, you know, wherever it gets you, it gets you. And for a lot of people, I feel like you go ahead, the next time a challenge comes into your life, take it head on and see where it gets you. You're going to do things that you never thought you'd be able to do before. And that's beat life. You know, they say life is hard to beat, life is short, but it's how you make it. You know, you want to live life every single day. You want to live it to the fullest. Like you said, you know, I chose to work here. You know, you chose to hire me, but I chose to work here. So it's just like life, you know. Obviously, situations, sometimes we don't choose them, but we can obviously get over them. And we don't have to stay in the same situation, just like we don't have to stay in the same job if we don't like the job. But, you know, you want to battle through so that, you know, the next time you have a challenge, it's not hard to overcome it. And the one thing I tell my friends all the time is quitting just isn't an option, because quitting's contagious. And, you know, when you quit at one thing, the next time something happens, you're going to quit again. And then quitting's just going to be a habit.
Nasty habit.
The example I use for them is, you know, say you're married with a kid and, you know, something happens with your wife and, you know, you quit on the marriage or you quit on the situation. Now, when something happens with your kid and your kid sees that you quit, and now they quit. And now all you're going to keep doing is quitting, and you're not going to know how to win. Because now it's like, oh, this situation's hard, I'm quitting. I'm not going through this. Or this is hard. Oh, okay, I quit that. Now I can quit this. So quitting is one of the worst things to do, no matter how hard it gets. At the end of the day, you're going to win. You know, if you don't quit, you're going to win. There's no losing in life. The only L in life is a lesson. And that's because you want to be taught a lot of things in life. Losing is for people who have a mindset of no tomorrow or no future. And that's what I live by every single day, where, you know, some days you don't want to get up, some days you want to lay in bed, but then it's like, I just wasted 4 or 5 hours doing what? Going back to sleep and not accomplishing anything? And now I'm 4 or 5 hours late to work. But at the end of the day, you wake up with the mindset of, okay, you know what? It's going to be a great day. Then it's going to be a great day. You can't wake up and go, here we go again, or do I want to do this? You should never ask yourself a question in the morning time. The only thing you should do in the morning time is get up and go. And that's the number one thing. Because as soon as you start asking questions, it's like,
That's the doubt.
that's a doubt. And the next day, it's the same way. Now you're going to keep asking questions, and now you're going to say, wait, I never used to do this before. Why am I doing it now?
Yep.
You're doing it now because you put that in your mindset. From before, you would just get up and go. Now it's, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. Or, do I really have to? Yeah, you really have to do it. It's life. You know, you got to get through.
Got to get through it.
And that's the number one thing I tell my siblings too is, no matter how hard it gets, don't quit. You know, I'm here. If they need me, they know I'm here.
Yeah. Quitting is easy.
Yeah, quitting's
It's
easy.
just the easy way out. It's the coward way. It means I give up. And I don't associate with people like that. I don't, I have friends, man, that come from the dark world. And they're very successful now, man. And people back in the day used to look at them and clown them.
Yeah.
And now they're top of the food chain.
Of course.
Right? Because you never count anybody out. You know, I was talking to one of my friends last night. He talked about how he used to get high. Now he makes 6 figures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Driving around in a big truck. You know what I mean? Living a good life. Like, you just can't count people out. You know, and that's the beauty of life, man. You always have a chance because God gives you the opportunity to wake up. That gives you another chance. Yeah. You know. So I appreciate you coming out, the class in session.
I want to say one more thing because
Go ahead.
You made a good point. Same thing, you know, every day that you wake up, that's another day God's giving you. So obviously he's not done with you. Because if he was done with you, hey, that's it. You have nothing else to live for. And as far as being counted out, that's a good point. There's plenty of times where I've been counted out. We're not going to go into details on that, but there's plenty of times I've been counted out. There's been friends who, knew my situation. It was like, oh yeah, I'm not associating with this kid over here because he went through that. Now he's going to try to feed off of me or, try to get information off of me. Or like, hey, what if something happens? Now he has nowhere to go. And, my entire mindset was, you need, more motivation than I do. Yeah. Because, at the end of the day, you can compare two different people. You can compare a person who lost it all and had to start from the beginning, or you can literally take someone who has it all and now when something dramatic or tragic happens to them, they don't know where to go because they're used to feeding off of their parents, their siblings, other people. And I'm not saying if you still have your parents, that's a blessing. You want to take everything from them, but at the end of the day, when you're grown, you got to start to realize that they're not going to be there forever. Absolutely. So, you got to start now, especially when you get to, 17, 18, that junior, senior year of high school, when they send you off to college, they're not going to be there forever. Get yourself a job, go to class, do what you got to do because start your own funds. Because at the end of the day, yeah, your parents may leave you money, but how much of that is going to be good when you blow it or when you go through it all because you don't have any common sense on how to actually,
manage
save money.
No financial education. Yeah.
For me, it was easy. My dad always told me to save money. It was always, I believe it was spend 20%, save 80%. And I thought it was the other way around. I was like, you mean spend 80% and save 20? And he's like, no. Like save the 80% and then you'll see where it gets you. Yeah. So my thing is, as far as being counted out, I'd rather take someone who's gone through the worst and, shape them into the best because people who have it all or think they have it all are the ones who need the most help because they don't realize how much they have until they lose it versus someone like me who, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I did have it, but I didn't act like I had it. Yeah. Because at the same time, I knew that in the future, I was gonna need it somewhere else.
And you knew where you came from. You came out the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got it out the mud. You got it the hard way.
Yeah.
You had to get out there and really do it. So it's more meaningful.
Of course, yeah.
You got to actually do it versus inherit it.
Of course. I bought my own car, I was working 2 jobs going to school. I'd rather work 2 jobs and go to school than just go to school and then come home and do nothing. Exactly. So having 2 jobs, going to school, buying my first car, I remember telling you, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm
when I saw you in the car.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing this. I was like, I'm be honest, I hate spending money. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah. So when I was like, I gotta spend how much for a car? I was like, You know what? I earned it. I deserved it.
Absolutely.
And even then, I felt like there was still a couple of things I needed to do before I can honestly give that to myself.
Yeah.
But then with your help and everyone else just saying stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah, you deserve that.
Because
It's time.
I'm super hard on myself. I feel like no matter what I do, I got to give at least one more.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing. I mean, that's really what I want to end with. As far as if you have any more
That's
questions,
a good message.
But it was more so just don't just be yourself. Do what you gotta do. Try to do everything on your own so that no one can say that they helped you. And I'm not saying it's bad to take help, but when you do things on your own, accomplish things on your own, it just feels so much better.
It's a beautiful thing.
Because you don't owe anyone anything. It's like, oh wow, I did that. And then it also gives you a challenge because you may put it in your head before you even do it. Wait, can I do this? How about you try to do it, and then when you do it, it's like, I doubted myself. I should have just did it from the jump.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to do with everything in life, no matter how hard the situation is. It's just head on.
That's dope, man. That's a good way to end, man. Like I said, we appreciate having you here. This is dope. I needed to sit with you and have this talk, man. It's long overdue.
Of course.
It's been some years, and we appreciate you coming on Class in Session. And you guys stay tuned. Look out for the book.
Yeah, the book's coming soon.
And how do people contact you and find you on social media?
My Instagram page, it's Brian Jones _30 or no, Brian Jones 30 I honestly don't know. You can tag it. I
type in Brian Jones.
I think it's Brian. Yeah, just type in Brian Jones.
And you got the fitness page.
Yeah, I have a fitness page. So that's in my bio as well. I don't want to promote myself,
Yeah, man. But somebody might want to connect with you.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll
have when we collab this up together, we'll have it at the bottom in the comments.
Absolutely.
But no, I just want to say I appreciate it. This is wonderful. Like you said, it opened me up a little bit more.
Yeah.
I must say. I know I was talking to you about it before on the situation. I did talk to a close friend of mine as well. About it, and she was telling me, just go through with it. It's only going just be yourself. Yeah. She's like, just go through with it. It's only going to help you, but you like to help others. So just think about how it's going to benefit others.
Exactly.
And that's really what had me go, you know what? I don't need to hear anything else. Once you said how it's going to benefit others,
man,
that it takes me away right there because.
Yeah, this is how we are. We always thinking about other folks.
Of course.
And that's why I started this platform, because I know I've been in this game for a long time, and I love helping people. I'm always going to do that, but I wanted a platform. People say, "Oh, who you have coming on the show?" I said, "Well, my show is not about views and going viral. It's about content and actually substance, and having people on here who have something to talk about, and obviously to help them, and it helps, because hearing your story always helps me.
Yeah.
Hearing other people's story helps me. I benefit from other people's stories in their lives, because I know how to take pain and turn it into power.
Yep.
And we connect different ways. We have different similarities. And I love doing this type of show because of those reasons. It helps me become a better person. So this is not about being perfect. Being a life coach is not about, I'm the best out here, I'm the one you need to talk to. No, it's about, we're human. We all have stories. We all have backgrounds, and we fall short. So it's not about me being perfect. That's not the picture we're trying to present here on Class in Sessions. We're presenting realness and people telling their real stories and talking about real things and real problems and real events. And that's what Class in Session is about. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and close out. And we thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
And hey, listen, you guys know what time it is, man. The future is Urban Scholar.